love and war, and this is revolution.
And welcome to Formula One Hangouts from Fabio and Simos. How are you doing, Fabio? Is Ferrari still with us this year?
Yes, more or less. Yeah, I mean,
thank goodness.
It depends on how many people crash into them, but yeah, they are.
Well, you say crash into them. Isn't this just another story of Vettel driving into someone?
What? Really? You want to go there?
Hey, anyway, we've been in China this week. So what's your reflections on China? Or China, as we're saying for our American friends.
It was a funny race. I liked the race. There were some things which were really puzzling me. But yeah, all in all, it was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Ricciardo because I love the guy. What the fuck do I have to say? I'm really happy for the guy. I can't be mad, at the result, honestly. And I should be, because there were some things which were really puzzling, like how the fuck do you lose 6 seconds in one lap? It's beyond me. I have no idea what they did. I think they made a Ferrari and even Mercedes made a big mistake with the safety car, because both Kimi and Lewis had the chance to get into the pit.
Yeah.
Not Vettel and Bottas, because my understanding is that they were a little bit late in sending off the safety car.
That's right. Yeah.
So Vettel and Bottas had no chance whatsoever to get into the pit lane, but Lewis and Kimi had just the right amount of time to tell them, okay, get in, change the tires and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked about Lewis not coming in, because he was complaining at the beginning of the race about tyres and thinking that his tyres wouldn't make it on a one-stop. So why they didn't take that opportunity, knowing that the safety car could come out, not to call him in if it did come out, I really don't know. It was just, again, superior tactics by Red Bull.
I think that, my impression is that now both Mercedes and Ferrari, they think they are on the same level. So they strategize pretty much in advance. And when you're pretty sure about your means, you make a strategy and you kind of stick to it. While see, for example, what happened in I think it was Bahrain, or even in Australia, when Ferrari wasn't really sure about it, they managed to make some crazy shit, because you are the underdog, so you try things. Now I think that both things think they're on the same level, and they just stick to the plan, which is something that Red Bull doesn't, because they are the underdog, and rightly so. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have to, and they do have that ability to call a slightly wider range of tactics. But I felt Lewis was in the same spot there, being at the last of the, the top 4 runners. And I find it very strange that they didn't call him in. I mean, he knew on the radio, right, as soon as he saw Vettel and... not Vettel, as soon as he saw Verstappen and Ricciardo behind him, he knew that he'd lost the race to them. So, I think he called it from the cockpit as a bit of a strange one. And, I don't understand. Again, I'm a little bit disappointed. Several reasons really here. Raikkonen's race wasn't good. They left him out again. And I know I made this prediction last race that this was going to be a constant theme this year, but I didn't think it would happen in the situation that Raikkonen was leading. So I'm a bit shocked.
Yeah, they have to rethink the Raikkonen position really hard in Ferrari, I think, because I mean the guy is really consistent. So I don't know. There was at the point that I seriously thought that the reason why they left him out so much was that they were going to try something crazy, like going with Hypersoft for like 20 laps, which it might have been done. It wasn't impossible to do that. So I was quite astonished when they pitted the guy in and then let him go with the soft tires. I was quite that didn't add up. I mean, at that point, it didn't make any sense. It would have made sense if you make a gamble, say, okay, we leave him out as much as we can, and we just give it a shot. So yeah, it was really puzzling. I don't know what happened.
Well, it certainly looks like they're treating him as a number 2 driver, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, which is okay. It's tough to say, but it's okay. I mean, because
it's the Ferrari way. I mean, nobody's going to sit there and say that it's not the first time Ferrari have done it, but it's disappointing. It's disappointing from the side of the neutral, right? That you've got such a great driver who can't do anything. I mean, Massa was a good driver, but okay, he was nothing on Schumacher.
Yeah, but right. When we say
this is not the case with Vettel, and Raikkonen.
I mean, to be fair, we say that because it's Raikkonen, and everybody loves Raikkonen.
Well,
because,
we know he's fast. We know he's fast. He's not.
I mean, nobody's complaining about Bottas being treated like a piece of shit. So. No, but I get your point. You're right. But I think they have to seriously rethink the whole scenario, because either by chance or because he's fast or whatever. There's sometimes I'm really bothered by Raikkonen, because it seems to be that he falls asleep at the wheel.
Yeah,
and there's some instances in the race where I can't really figure out the guy. Because he's fast, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, what the fuck is the guy? I mean, it was supposed to be there, and it's not there. It's over there. So it's really puzzling. But yeah. But he's consistent, and I love it. And it was really... have you seen how happy he was on the podium? He was really happy.
Yeah, he did say a lot. You're right. He was very talkative.
Yeah. I think I even saw him having a little smile. I know it's a lot, but I think he smiled a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Look, I'm getting treated like a number 2 driver, and here I am, number 1 again.
Right.
It's how much money I'm being paid.
I mean, you can't really be mad at Raikkonen. I mean, it's because I mean, you can't even love the guy properly. I mean. You just love him because he doesn't give a flying fuck. But it's not really passion. It's a strange guy. He's really weird. He'll be missed when he leaves. But yeah. But I really do hope that Ricciardo goes in Ferrari. I really, I mean, that would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree. It would suit Ferrari's car. I mean,
yes.
I think he suits Ferrari's car more than a lot of drivers would. But then Ferrari have always liked these fast drivers, right? They like the flash drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why they don't build a car which is a flash car, as a result. But that's just me,
Well, I mean, in recent years, they have to catch up. So they need consistent drivers. First of all, that's the first rule. I mean, if you want to develop a car, you need consistent drivers.
Very true.
And sometimes consistent is not the fastest driver, but you need someone which is really consistent and really which can give a lot of feedback, to the engineers and stuff like that. I told already. I think I told last year, but. Kimi is one of the most loved drivers by engineers, because the kind of feedback that he gives back is really spot on. So there is that. You're muted.
Yes, sorry, I was just checking the external chat just to see what's going on there. Hello, everybody out there.
Yeah, we have Gordo and F417H.
Yeah, that's Faith. Hello, Faith.
Oh, it's Faith. Oh, yeah, right.
Really,
gotcha.
thank you for your continued support, Faith, as always. Yeah. And Gordo. Yeah, driver feedback. I mean, that is a crucial point. You know, one of the reasons I think Rosberg was such a good driver for the teams as well was able to give that kind of consistency in testing to the engineers. And I do think that Ricardo is a little like that. He's got that ability, but more than that, he just seems to have that Alonso factor, by which I mean he seems to make the most of his situations in race. And I'm continually stunned by how consistent he is doing that.
Yeah, the only thing is that Alonso is fast. Nobody can deny that. He's a really good driver. I don't think nobody can deny that. But do you really? I mean, would you go out for a beer with Alonso?
Probably not. But I wouldn't go out for a beer with many of them, to be honest.
Yeah, Ricciardo would be one of the few of them, probably.
Yeah, I would definitely go with Ricardo. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's important, especially if the car is on a. I'm talking about Ferrari. If if they continue to improve, you get to a point where you need someone which is able to act as a catalyst, you know, for the fans and all the people around. And if the car is good, you need someone like Ricciardo. You can't fall in love with Verstappen. I mean, Verstappen is fast. It's probably the future. I think it's not. I don't think he's as smart as he's fast. But you can't fall in love with Max. It's really tough. But Ricciardo, fuck it. I mean, everybody would love to have him as the best man, you know, at the wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got an Italian name, so that's got to be good for Ferrari, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But anyway, so
moving on.
Yeah, great undercut by Bottas. Again, have you? Did you get any idea how they were able to get 5 seconds in one lap? Because I saw the times, and it's really weird. They had a pit stop which was slower than Mercedes. I'm talking about Ferrari, but it wasn't that much slower. The thing was I think what really getting them was I remember the times was the outlap. The outlap from Bottas was fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
that's when they made most of the time up, I think. So presumably it was getting the tires up to temperature quicker.
Yeah. But still, I mean, I've been wondering for, you know, ever since that happened, I've been trying to explain myself. That was really tough, you know, to swallow. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the tires this year, though. You know, we're going to get results like that, I think, because of the inconsistencies across the compounds.
Oh, so, talking about tires, I'm expecting an apology from you because I mean, this race, the tires behaved exactly that they were supposed to behave.
I don't think they did.
Oh, come on.
No, because here we go. I mean, you know, I just think it's the delta between the two. It's the way they get switched on that's the problem for me. So it's that harder tires will operate at a lower temperature than the softer tires, right? And that doesn't seem right to me. So that's why, you know, that's why we're never going to get these races, because the teams which don't switch their tires on are going to go, you know, for the cooler working tires, which might be the harder compound.
Yeah, but the harder compound doesn't give too much grip, so it's a compromise anyway.
Yeah, but if you're not getting your tires switched on, right, then they're going to give you as much grip as the you know, but more grippy tires, allegedly.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're not going to last as much as the other one. And again, I think China showed it. The previous race was quite weird because, you know, after the conversation we had, I kept, you know, reading and, you know, finding data. And since it was really weird because they had a strange combination of cold track and hot air and stuff like that. So the previous race was really weird from that point of view. But I mean, this one, for example, was quite telling in what you said. Yeah, I mean, the other tires were lasting a little bit more, as it's supposed to be, but they were not as performing as the other tires, even from the get-go. If you remember, I mean, Verstappen was able to manage to make some overtakes just from the start because he had, the violet tires. I don't know what the fuck the color it is. What color is that?
Ultra soft? I don't know. Purple? Who knows?
Yeah. Purplish, yeah. The gay tires, okay? The gay, yeah. The
No,
violet.
not the pink. No, those are the super.
Oh,
ultra,
okay, yeah.
Super ultra flexible, really sticky soft tires.
The almost gay tires.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The clingy ones.
The clingy one, yeah. Now we're able to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, we're doing our best,
Yeah. Right. We want a lot of hate mail. That's what we're striving for.
This is a Formula One show, after all.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to have problems with tires all year. I think it's going to be what frustrates me most of the year, anyway.
Well, again, as long as everybody has the same problems with the tire, I'm fine. It's not a problem.
Well, they don't know, Fabio, because it depends how hard your car works the tires.
But that has always happened. Even last year, we saw that, Mercedes was better with medium tires, which is now the soft tires and, whatever the fuck. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of aspects to be taken into consideration.
Again, I'll say it again. The problem is that if you get harder tires working at a lower temperature, okay, then that's going to necessarily, make the tire choices more streamlined or more, the teams are going to be forced into it. Mercedes are always going to be forced this year into the harder tires because they can't get as much temperature into their tires, right? So unless the track temperature is extremely high enough to make the tires work by themselves, right, then Mercedes are always going to be at a slight disadvantage.
Yeah, now you're going to blame
Ferrari, who seem to be able to get a lot more heat in their tires.
Right? Yeah, I know. Blame the tires. I know.
Well, okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we'll just say that Vettel is only 9 points ahead of Hamilton at the moment.
Yeah.
Considering this is the beginning of the year, is a bit of a result for Hamilton.
Oh, fuck me. I mean, I think the person which has been, the luckiest one from the old race was actually Hamilton. Last race. There's no doubt about it. I mean, forget Ricciardo, forget Bottas and Kimi. The luckiest one was Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a little unlucky to, let Kimi get past him when Vettel drove into Verstappen. But nonetheless, that happened.
Sorry, who drove into who?
Oh, wasn't it a red car driving into someone? It normally is when it's a red car, isn't it? Because I remember Baku last year.
Jesus Christ, you're an ass today.
I'm sorry. I don't have anything to say about this race because it was
Fuck me. I mean, Verstappen went to Vettel and actually apologized. And by the way, I got to give credit to Vettel. He behaved like a proper gentleman. I mean, if I were him, I would have pulled. Do you remember Schumacher and Coulthard?
Ralph, you mean? Ralph, yeah.
No. Michael Schumacher and Coulthard.
Oh, yeah. Well, he worked down to the pits to have him out with him, yeah.
Yeah, well, he actually went down to the pit because he wanted to smack his face. So I thought that Vettel was pulling a Schumacher on Verstappen. They actually behaved in a really gentle and civilized way. That was quite astonishing,
I remember Ralph Schumacher's first words on live TV, around global live TV, were "You're a bloody shit."
yeah. I mean, okay, really, come on. Between me and you, would you have blamed if Vettel went to Verstappen and said, "You are a fucking piece of shit"?
Well, I think it was clever of Verstappen to apologize.
Yeah, he went there from the get-go. Yeah, right.
Because I don't think he wanted to. I mean, he wanted to say, "Oh, Zeb cut me off," but he realised that he was in too much trouble to say that.
Yeah, I mean, Gasly, I think, tried to say that what's the name of the other guy from Toro Rosso? I can't
Hartley.
remember. Yeah, Gasly tried to say that. Yeah, he cut into me, you know. But I mean, there is 1,000 cameras pointed at you every fucking second. How in the fucking hell are you able to say that? Really? I mean, you got to be a special brand of stupid to either, you know, even say that.
Well, I don't know about a special brand of stupid. I mean, you've got to be a Formula One driver.
Which is actually a special brand of stupid.
Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I think we agree there then.
Yeah, right. But yeah, well, that was yeah, it was quite. I also read somebody which is so mental. I mean, it's on the internet, so it's not tough to find mental people. Someone was complaining about the safety car because they shouldn't have put it outside. I mean, there were not too many debris on the road, and I'm thinking and wondering why the fuck these people watch these things? I mean, shouldn't they? I mean, shouldn't they watch? Yeah, I mean, these guys are fucking blades on the on the track.
Yeah, that the reason, of course, is punctures. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, these things are very, very sharp pieces of carbon fiber left on the road. When you're talking about you know, tires which are under a good deal of pressure, then punctures are likely to happen. And you never know where they're going to happen. They can happen in braking zones, in which case they can be very dangerous.
Yeah, but you know, this is where I feel really old, you know, because when I hear people complaining that, you know, about the safety car, I say, okay, I've got to be really old because I really don't get it. I try to empathize with people, but this is something I really can't get it. I mean, people complain about the virtual safety car, and I think rightly so, because the way it's implemented is shit. So, I mean, the only other option is you either stop the race or you put a safety car. What the fuck do you want people to do? Jump into the racetrack, you know, clean the track while people are driving around you at a gazillion kilometers an hour? It's insane. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, there is no solution to you know, safety cars. I mean, they're a necessary evil as far as I'm concerned. So, and yeah, they throw the race up in the air, and you know, we've had 2 races in a row where it's kind of changed the result completely, and that doesn't seem right. But you just have to put up with it, I'm afraid.
I mean, but that might happen, you know, because you know, it's part of the package when you start the race.
Well, indeed, it's a necessary evil. I mean, in the old days, of course, you know, drivers themselves would just stop on track to help each other because there was so little safety involved.
Right.
So, you know, thank goodness we're not in those days. In fact, it reminds me of, I think, 93. Nigel Mansell went to IndyCar. And I think his very first accident where he put his car in the wall was because a safety car forced him out wide.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I can't remember the racetrack. Long Beach, maybe. But yeah, he in fact got put in the wall through a safety car. So at least we don't have American standards of safety cars. That's all I'm saying there.
Well, I've read, I don't know if it's true, but I've read that the Americans, they want to have a safety car by design. Like, you know, every race they will have at least 2 safety cars every so often, just to regroup the race, you know, and have basically a new race.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers, you know.
Well, for us. But, I mean, it would be nice. I mean, I guess, I mean, looking back in hindsight at this one, I think they could have thrown the virtual safety car first and then told everybody that they were going to throw the safety car next lap, you know.
Well, with the amount of shit that they get every time they develop, they pull down the virtual safety car, I can't really blame them.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. If you're going to do something like a virtual safety car to try and stop this advantage being made, then, you know, you've got to use it. It's no good just going, oh, actually, you know, half the cars have gone past the pit. We'll call it now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't. But anyway, it's a personal thing. And I think it's a necessary evil. You're not going to get it you're not going to get it perfect. So we're just going to have to go with whatever the safety person at the time thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And when he calls it, that's when it gets called. It's just going to have to be one of those, throw the coin in the air, and some people benefit and some don't.
Right. I mean, it's part of the game. It would be the same thing if you happen to have a race where it might be raining or not, and then it rains, and all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Are you going to ride with umbrellas all over the track? I mean, it makes no sense. This is the kind of things which happen. So it's part of the game. So yeah.
And also we remember that in some sense we're still reacting to Bianchi's tragic death, which should have been, which was clearly, as far as I could see, it was a safety mistake, right? It was the marshals that were error there.
And I mean, as long as Briatore is no longer in F1, we can be pretty sure that nobody's crashing in the track on purpose. So,
can we?
Oh, can we? Right.
Or can we? I'm saying. Well, I mean,
I don't see anybody right now to be as a piece of shit as Briatore was.
Well,
right now.
Apparently, Ferrari satellites that loosen the wheel nuts.
Come on.
I'm just saying, NASA, all right, this is NASA we're talking about here. NASA have got pictures of the satellite.
So you're telling me that Honda now is also a satellite team of Ferrari? You didn't expect that happening, right?
Well, I hadn't worked all the ramifications out clearly, but you might be right.
Talking about satellite teams, have you noticed now that Sauber is not performing really well? They're not calling that Alfa Romeo anymore. They're calling it Sauber.
Sauber again. Yeah, I noticed that. It's not Alfa Romeo Sauber or Sauber Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, and how I felt about the old thing,
Yeah. Well, it looks like they gave them last year's Ferrari engine, so we know how that works out.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it's not as fast as it was supposed to be. I'm quite disappointed by the new guys, actually.
How do you mean the new guys?
I mean, if
the drivers.
Look at the podium. I mean, it's all. I mean, the old farts are there, but the new blood is nowhere to be seen. And I'm putting Verstappen in new blood too.
Yeah, well, it's tires. I'm telling you, it's tires.
Oh, come on, the tires are round and black. For the most part,
it takes experience. It takes experience to use them to their fullest, and that's the old guard are the experienced ones that are making the most of those tires, or at least not destroying the tires.
Yeah, but
I don't think they're getting great performance, but I do think they're not destroying the tires the way some of the others are. So.
But still, I was expecting a little bit more. I mean, I can give a little bit of leeway to Leclerc. I mean, it's really his first year.
Yeah.
Even if I thought it was a little bit faster, but still, Leclerc, first year. But even people like Perez and Ocon, which are not exactly the first year, but they're still considered to be young. Then, I mean, Verstappen, Van Dorn too. I mean, I think he's really pissed.
Again, I just think this is inexperience showing through. I think it's to do with car setup. Mercedes, I think what Mercedes did this race is compromise their lap time in order to have a higher downforce setup, which generated some more temperature in the tires in order to avoid the problems that they were having. So until they get this sorted, I don't see any change at all.
So you are the kind of guy that you, instead of recognizing that Ferrari made a big step forward, you're willing to say that Mercedes, step back their car.
The reason for me is that, it tends to be a power circuit, so it's 2x2. Now, on the qualifying results, you would expect, therefore, that Ferrari had a more powerful engine. I don't think they have a more powerful engine. I honestly think they just have a better chassis at this point in the season. So that it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I was kidding before, but it's an interesting point you're raising. The thing is, for example, I've heard Lewis was complaining about the fact that Ferrari actually has a more powerful engine, and I mean it's really tough from the track to give him that kind of judgment. But still, I mean, Lewis is not exactly stupid, so I mean when he says something, you got to listen to the guy. I think they made a big improvement in the engine department too. So I don't know. We got to see later on.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't seem to show by top speed. It seems to me the Mercedes has got a great top speed still. So again, I don't think it's down to engine power. I think it's down to the way it puts the power on the track.
Well, you see,
that's the chassis, and ultimately that's the tires.
Well, you see, I mean, top speed sometimes is really deceiving. You know, look at Williams.
Very true. But if you've got a higher downforce,
right,
you would expect the top speed to be less. And I'm saying that Mercedes have a higher downforce and an equal top speed.
It's really. I understand what you say. From my point of view, it's really tough to actually say that, because those two cars have got quite different approach in the aerodynamics. I can't really. I mean, that's personal. So I mean, it's worth nothing. But to me, it would be really tough to say that one car has more downforce than the other, because they're so different.
Okay, well, I was basing that on the fact that Lewis changed his wing on Thursday practice, Friday practice 1 Friday. He changed his wing from the low downforce to the high downforce wing.
Oh, I see.
So
before we leave, one more thing I have to say. Big congratulations to the mechanics, especially in Red Bull, which managed to pull out a really tricky job by changing the power unit to Ricciardo in Q3, I think it was.
P3.
P3, yeah. So that was really great for them to do that. They were able to do that in record time, and I mean they were basically the reason why Ricciardo managed to win the race. So big round of applause to those guys. I mean we don't really remember those guys except when someone just happens to have a car driving over his leg. But they make an excellent job. Yeah, and it's really weird. I mean, that's another aspect of the F1, which is it's interesting. We can probably talk about it in some other podcasts, but it's a really interesting thing. There is a huge difference between the pay of the mechanics in F1, for example, and you be. I'll just leave it there. But just so you know, the Ferrari guys are among the least paid mechanics in F1.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea. I thought it would be the Williams mechanics, but okay.
Yeah. But I mean, in comparison, they're among the least paid ones. Those are infos I have from 4 or 5 years ago. So they might have changed something, but I don't think, because that was the trend which was going on. But anyway,
highest paid drivers and lowest paid mechanics. Something's wrong. Maybe it's just my Garistisa kind of attitude that I've got.
Right. That might be the case. I don't know.
It might be the case. Yeah.
Right.
Other than that, I think Leclerc is doing pretty good so far. I wouldn't expect even someone of his caliber to come in and start giving perfect performances, which is the expectation level in Formula One. So I'm certainly prepared to give him some time. He still looks pretty exciting when he's actually driving the car.
Yes.
It's just the car doesn't do anything. So there you go.
I mean, you can see he's learning, and he's making the mistakes that people does in F1. He just spins around, but he tries. So I love it, and I just want to see the guy a little bit faster, because I really like the guy. So yeah,
I can see him getting a Haas drive maybe next year if he pulls his socks up a little bit.
Yeah, right. Why not?
But there you go. So
Why not?
there's that, and I can't see those two Haas drivers staying in there. Magnussen doesn't seem to be a team player enough for Ferrari, and Grosjean has just lost his edge. So we'll see what happens there. I'm interested to see. Well, I'm interested to see what happens when we get to a racetrack where the temperature is high enough. I think that'll be the next interesting benchmark. And hopefully Mercedes will do something with their chassis or their setup to allow them to bring the tyres in quicker. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to get a Ferrari runaway season. So we'll see.
I don't know where the next major steps for the teams are supposed to be happening. I think it's a little bit soon. I'm expecting another couple of races before they show up with something more radical, But I don't know. I'll make a note to find out where the next major steps in aerodynamics and stuff, they're supposed to be happening. But yeah. So next race is in the birthplace of motorsport, Azerbaijan. Of course, everybody knows.
Birthplace of motorsport.
Yeah, right. I mean, everybody knows that. And Azerbaijan is the cradle of motorsport. This is where it all started,
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is where somebody pushed someone downhill first.
Right. But, I mean, the historic circuit of Baku.
Yeah. So this is where Vettel lost it last year.
Right.
And hopefully he'll be a little better behaved this year.
Yeah.
I am surprised. I didn't think he would drive into anybody this early in the season. But hey,
come on. Okay.
But there you go. What can be expected, hey? It's going to be like that every time this happens, Fabio. You know that.
Jesus, I mean, that guy cannot be right ever in your eyes, right? So I mean,
pretty much, unless he signs for I don't know, Sauber or something, then.
I would love to see him signing for Mercedes or Williams and see what the fuck you're going to say about that.
Don't you dare! Oh, don't you dare!
Or, God forbid, McLaren with a proper engine.
I wouldn't mind that too much, but actually, I'd like to see him in the Williams team. To be honest, they could do with a decent driver. But anyway, there you go. So next week, as I say, in 2 weeks' time, it's Baku.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's a flat out top speed circuit. Everybody's going to be on their lowest downforce. So we should at least get a better benchmark again for how the cars are compared to each other.
Yeah.
And I think that will tell us who actually has the best car by then. So hopefully we'll have a bit more information next time.
Yeah, it's gonna as I said, we said before, it's gonna be difficult. I don't think that. I mean, last year we had very different cars. And I want to say you could predict which car was faster on which circuit, but because of they were very different, it wasn't that difficult. This year, actually, I mean, so far, I mean, it's the third race, so it's really early. But it has been quite astonishing. I think you agree with that. Even the results in qualifying.
Yeah,
I mean, those were the ones which I was more surprised because, as I said, in the race, everything can happen. But the qualifying are pretty much straightforward. You really prepared them. So, yeah. Anyway.
Again, I think with this one, it was that Mercedes chose to use a higher downforce, which you can do at China, right? You can offset top speed against downforce. And there is some play between the two. And I think they chose to do that on the basis that they wanted to work the tyres harder. So they compromised themselves, and I don't think they'll make that mistake again. You can't make that mistake at Baku anyway, so we'll see.
You're still with the tyres. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a theme all this year, guaranteed.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be my. It's gonna be my damnation. Listening to you talk about the tyres with no reason whatsoever for the whole season.
Well, okay. I did say to you last year, at the end of last year, I said to you, I think this will be the determining factor. And yeah, well, it's still early in the season, so I could be wrong about this.
The fact that you told me last year, I mean, you're presuming that they actually listen to what the fuck you're saying. So,
well, I hope you do, because I said Ricciardo for Ferrari will be a good signing. But
that's the only thing I remember you saying.
You guys were saying, "Oh no, Verstappen will be much better." So
what? Are you shitting me?
Well, it might have been somebody else that was on the panel.
Yeah, right. It might be. It definitely might have been.
But I think you agreed.
No fucking way. I mean, listen, it's all on record. So either you find, the sound bite, or fuck it.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway.
Okay, well, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And we've had a pretty good one. So I think the race was interesting. I'm glad we got a surprise result. I'm especially glad that there's only 9 points between the two of them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, other than that, I think it's great, really.
Yeah. Come on, give us a soundbite.
I was just trying to.
It is great motor racing.
So there we go. It's great motor racing.
That is more than enough.
So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time for Baku, which will be the Monday after the 29th. Say ciao.
Ciao, ciao.